Hi, it's Roni, and welcome to a Punched Out Thursday to Die For, where we'll all be using our punches and or our dies. And it's a wee bit early. Plus, it is also wood grain and winter, because this layout started out as a wood grain and winter layout. But then I was gone all day. I was in a tire repair place thing where they sold tires, but they fix other stuff too all day. Yeah, what started out as wood grain winter ends up punched out Thursday. I'm going to scrap this picture right here, the only picture that I could find that anybody took of food at our last year's Christmas party. And I'm going to be using several of those dies right there and putting things together, and they're pretty tiny. They look even tinier on this screen than they did in person. And one day I was looking for a mason jar that, well, I think I was looking for a cookie jar, candy jar. I think that's what it was. And I found this mason jar and I really liked it. So I went ahead and got it because all the little goodies that went with it. And I thought, man, you could decorate that up. And that's probably been 2 or 3 years ago. So I looked on Amazon and I couldn't find it, but there's plenty of cute ones there that would work if you were interested in a cookie or candy jar that was like a mason jar, plus other kind of jars. And this one had the little thing on the top to make a cloth top, only I'm using candy cane. At first thought about using plaid, especially the black plaid to go with several other things in the layout. But since I have so much candy cane, I thought that would work too. And I put that tag on there, put it together so I'd have two colors. And I probably should have put it on the opposite side. But no, I put it there, and watching the video later, I thought, yeah, it should have been on the opposite side. But it's okay. And I wanted my bow to be a little more 3D, so I added a second bow and some foam tape, and so it pop up a little bit. And I do have, uh, well, it looks like it's an embossed vellum. It has texture to it, and I've had it for many years, and this was a scrap. So it has white swirls on it. And this cute little gingerbread guy was in there, and I did end up making three. You can see some already made up over in the tray. But he had a little bow tie, and it is cut out, so I added red to the back, and then I added black for his eyes and his buttons. It's hard to tell on this little screen, though, but I did. And here I'm using my white gel pen to make the candy look like it's white and red. And my little white pen is skipping a little bit. On here, I put the wrong piece on there. See how that tree trunk's shaped? I did not notice it until later when I was editing the video. And I remember thinking at the time, boy, I didn't realize it was this skinny. Well, it does not go with that. It went with a sucker. And I guess I just missed the sucker and never put it together. But yeah, it has a thicker uh, trunk than that. But it looks cute, so it ends up going on the little, well, under the little jar. And so I did use it, but like I said, I didn't even notice it until I was editing. And you'd think I would have noticed that little round circle edge and realized what for, but I cut them both out of wood grain. Oh, I didn't make a black on the back of the gingerbread. It was a snowman. Sorry. Uh, I cut a little tiny piece for his nose to go on the back and a bigger piece for the black. And so there he now has his eyes and his nose. And teeny tiny scarf. I mean, these pieces are so little. And that hat, I wanted to put some red on it. So I found the scrap that, well, it was actually curved and everything already, but way too big. So I am cutting it down and making it fit my little hat there so he'll have something to match his scarf and putting it on top. But yeah, it's a cute little snowman, but it sure is tiny. Now, since it's wood grain and winter, I decided to make the wood grain star of the show today. Sometimes I have less, sometimes I have more, and this is just the prettiest wood grain. and it's Simple Stories, I believe. And I went ahead and added my candy cane and black to it. And so I'm just going to put this little jar down here in the bottom corner, and I am putting a couple things behind the jar and then some stuff in front of the jar too. But while I'm doing that, I'm going to tell you why these are combined. I started out with grain in winter, and I made the parts and everything, got everything ready. I planned on doing the layout today and uploading it. But my son-in-law noticed a screw in my tire, and although it was keeping air and everything, it had, well, a partial screw. It wasn't the whole thing. And so I took it to the tire shop today. And I went first thing in the morning thinking I'd get in and get out. It wouldn't be busy. Well, he actually told me, like noon, that they forgot about me, that he had left and went to lunch and visited the lady next door because her husband had passed away, and that he just got back and realized nobody had taken care of me. Everybody had come and went, and I was still sitting there. Well, then they tell me they can't fix my tire. That in good faith, that they couldn't fix it. They didn't say it wasn't fixable. In good faith, they couldn't fix it. And I said, well, why not? My son-in-law seemed to think it'd be fixable. And they said, well, it's the age. I bought my tires in 2014. I don't drive it that much, several times a month, but, it's not like everyday thing. And I live out in the country, so I make all my trips usually together, one trip to town. And so, yeah, 10, 11 years old. And he said that they just couldn't fix it and not worry about me. So I said, okay, and I had to buy a tire. But first, I forgot about this part. They come out, charge me $27 for fixing my tire and everything. And I go outside and I can't find my car. And I have a cane and a brace on my knee. And so here I am, hobble along, looking, went all around the building, found it around back, up on a jack, no wheel. So I go back in. And he apologizes profusely. And, oh, I forgot to tell you, too, when he come back, he offered to buy me my lunch since I'd been there all day. I said, no, that's fine. I was okay. And so, anyway, he says, you got to let me do something for all your troubles. So he gave me a card for an forever card for for my next oil change free. So it's in my wallet. So my next oil change is free because he insisted on me taking it. Anyway, they put the new tire on my car because that's when he told me it had to be a new tire. And that was pretty quick. I didn't have to wait near as long on that as I did getting the tire fixed. And so I go outside after they bring it around front because I asked them if they could bring it around front this time so I'll know it's fixed. They bring it around front, and anyway, they had a problem with the sensor, and they'd replaced it and everything too. Anyway, my car wouldn't start, and I called them instead of walking back in. I called them and asked them if they could send somebody out to jump it, and they said, yeah. Anyway, he came out and apologized and jumped it, and it jumped real easy. But he said that they had the key turned so they could tell whether the sensor was working right or not. And it had been in the on position for a long time. Anyway, then he noticed my light was still on for the low tire. And I said, well, it wasn't on when I came. He said, well, we had a lot of trouble with it. If it still don't go off after you drive it a while, come back. And I think I'm going to wait. I think I've had enough for sitting and waiting. They do have a TV. I have to admit that. And of course, I can sit there and people watch. I did see a guy with banana curls. If you even know what that is, it's something I hadn't seen in years. But yeah, I seen he had a ponytail, but they were all banana curls, and I thought, boy, they're pretty, they're perfect. But yeah, I could watch other people as they came and went, and it you can make up stuff. Are they married? Do they have kids? How many kids do they have? What kind of car they have, which I am terrible at, apparently. And all kinds of stuff just to keep your mind going and quit not being so bored. But yeah, a lot of people came and went. But yeah, I'm glad I am back home, just so y'all know. And so I'm combining these two because now it is evening because I got my layout done and then my computer decided to act stupid. It keeps freezing. It kept freezing up on me. It is not doing the freezing up while I'm talking and doing the voiceover. I have noticed that. But it was doing it while I was editing and I had to sit and wait. So, yeah, I am going to have it be for both. But back to the layout. I went to pull this die out yesterday, and the little dots for the eyes just went flying when I took it off the uh, die cut machine. And I thought, I am not going to look for those little things. Chances are I'll never find them. I will use my punch and make a couple of dots to go on there. But yeah, uh, my title is there and it says all the trimmings with the rub on, delicious. So yeah, my title mostly is delicious, but all the trimmings. But there wasn't turkey or anything like that. It was just lots of, well, barbecue sandwiches, with all kinds of things to go with it. And homemade candy, homemade cookies, all kinds of stuff like that. But this is the only photo anybody took of the food. I sat at the table with the little kids and talked to them and laughed with them and had them tell me all kinds of stories. And never once thought to pull my phone out and take a photo. I was just enjoying myself. But if you look there below, you will find the links to everybody that's doing a Punched Out Thursday to Die For. Plus, you will find the master, well, see, I started it again, the playlist for the wood grain and winter. And all you have to use is wood grain on your layout. And oh, here's some candy canes. I forgot to show me doing them. I didn't make them all up. I had some made from yesterday and I didn't make them all up. So I thought of them last second and they went on the layout. But there was other stuff like that sucker that did not get on there. And yeah, I apologize for that. But there's my completed layout. And isn't that the prettiest wood grain though? That's like my favorite one. And let's see, there's my title. And I use the button. I think I'm about out of the buttons. But I enjoyed using them and putting them on the layout because they are just so very cute. And of course, this is, again, except for the wood grain, 49 and Market. Mostly it's Christmas Spectacular. And there's my candy jar, cookie jar with a couple things in it and a couple things beside it. And there's my top cluster with all the layering. And I use the holly and berries for each one of the clusters. And there's my last cluster with um, traditions. Tradition. It was only one word. I thought it said traditions when I remembered it was on there. I went to look because that looks so blank up there. And I was going to get a one word thing. And then I thought, well, I think there's traditions on the rub on. So that would be a good place to put it. But I want to thank you all so very, very much for joining me while I created my layout. And hope you check out the links and the playlist down there below. Have a happy, scrappy, well, this would be, since it's going up practically at midnight by the time I get it uploaded, it will be the last day of the 12 days of Christmas, which I had so very much fun at. And that angel that I did, well, it's today because it's not midnight yet. Uh, I put a little tiny poinsettia that was in one of the die cut set that you were supposed to put it like on the alphas and in her hair with some greenery and the little poinsettia. Just I kept looking at it and thinking she needed something else before I mailed it to my partner. But yeah, thank you all so much and have a happy scrappy month and find lots of time, hopefully, to scrap. Have a Merry Christmas, too, in case I'm not back again. Bye.